welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, May 12th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows a deeper marine layer compared to yesterday, with low clouds across the coastal and coastal valley areas and even approaching the lower coastal slopes in Southern California. Those low clouds will be much slower to clear today and may not clear at all towards the coast. There's also some mid-level cloudiness pushing out of Arizona and into our lower deserts, indicative of a little bit of subtropical moisture at the higher levels of the atmosphere. Nonetheless, there is also plenty of sunshine across the interior, and that will remain the case today. Here's a look at some current wind observations with the wind gust values shown in red, and there's really not a whole lot at all out there this morning, and there won't be for a few more hours. The winds are quite light this morning, but in parts of the region that's going to change in a pretty big way later this afternoon. High pressure is shifting east of the region today as a compact and fast-moving trough approaches the northern California coast. That trough will pass to our north tomorrow, then high pressure will build back in for Thursday and Friday. Then finally, the latest indications are that we will move into an inside slider troughing pattern by this weekend and into early next week, though there is still some uncertainty there. Today's temperatures will be highly location dependent, even more so than usual. For areas west of the coastal slopes, significant cooling is expected today due to the deeper marine layer. However, across the interior, temperatures will cool only slightly from yesterday's hot values and will still be well above normal, with some 100-plus degree readings still likely in the San Joaquin Valley. The deeper marine layer will spread higher humidities further inland today, but it will still remain dry above and inland from the marine influence, with minimum humidity around 12 to 25% and single digits in the deserts. And due to the approaching trough, today will become a much windier day than the past few, especially across the interior. Southwest to northwest winds over the mountain ridges and desert passes will increase to 20 to 30 miles per hour, with gusts to 50 miles per hour this afternoon and evening. The most noteworthy signal today is across west central California from the mountains of the interior central coast and down into the western San Joaquin Valley itself. This will be an unusually strong combination of gusty winds and low humidity for that area this afternoon and evening, strongly elevated to near-critical fire weather conditions. And there remains one other wild card for today, and that is that an isolated thunderstorm is possible over central California from the Central Valley eastward to the Sierra this afternoon and evening. Any thunderstorms would be fast-moving and dry, but we expect that lightning strike counts should be very limited, if any, due to the very dry air mass that's in place to limit atmospheric instability. Still, this is something to monitor as we watch that little batch of mid-level moisture coming out of the desert southwest. Looking ahead, Wednesday and Thursday are now looking a little warmer than previously forecast. We'll still get some cooling across the interior, but with high pressure building back in quickly, it's going to remain above average. Valley highs will remain in the 80s to as warm as 90 in the Central Valley, with 60s and 70s in the lower mountains. And minimum humidity will remain mainly between 12 and 25% away from the marine influence, with single digits continuing in the deserts. Temperatures should then remain fairly steady through early next week, with Friday a little warmer and the weekend slightly cooler, especially by Sunday. While a pronounced marine influence should remain present, humidities across the interior by late this week and the weekend will, if anything, be drier than early this week, with min-RH in the upper single digits and teens becoming common above the marine layer. And finally, depending on the evolution of the interior troughing, gusty north to northeast winds may be possible this weekend or early next week, with even a low but non-zero risk of a sundowner or Santa Ana type wind event. The weekend wind forecast remains highly uncertain, but it will be something to keep an eye on. Dead fuel moistures will remain on falling trends away from the coast this week, and we have fallen near to below normal in most classes of dead fuels. And ERC is trending above normal in most of the region, though will still remain near to below the 80th percentile in most areas this week. Nonetheless, this is definitely a favorable pattern for drying and curing both in the dead and live fuels, except for in the higher elevations where fuels are still mostly in a growing state coming out of dormancy. In terms of fire potential, there will be a daily moderate risk for a new large fire this week due to various combinations of warm, dry, and breezy conditions, with potential for rapid rates of spread on well-aligned starts during the peak burn window. Moderate initial attack activity is likely. Also, while the risk is fairly low, any thunderstorms this afternoon and evening would likely have a high ignition efficiency if they occur due to the antecedent dryness. The area-wide large fire probability for today is at the top end of the moderate category, well above where it would normally be this time of year. Fire potential remains mainly concentrated in the cured lower elevation grasses, though some low to mid-elevation brush, as well as some heavier dead fuels, may start to show some increased receptivity as well. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, May 13th.